Welcome to a brand new episode of the Marketing Business Wealth podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Witnish, and today's conversation is around content marketing. And I want to start by firstly acknowledging just how daunting and overwhelming that initial step into putting a brand, a business, yourself online is. It's very confronting, and the moment you step online, you're opening yourself up to judgment, to feedback, especially if you're taking a stand for something that you believe in. And the online world can be a very interesting space. There's a lot of people hiding behind avatars, fake accounts, profile pictures of characters that are not themselves. And all that's in the back of people's minds when they go to take that leap of faith. And as you grow and expand a reach and a presence and a brand, your exposure to those scenarios only grows because you're getting in the face of more people. And I can truly feel why that holds a lot of people back from getting started with the content journey. And even to this day, I still get hesitation and certain posts before I put them out when I know that I've taken a stand, or getting vulnerable, open or honest, or putting myself out there or exposing myself. There's a hesitancy. I'm always fearful of what might people think. There is that desire to be liked. That still all exists despite having done thousands of pieces of content over the years and doing this day in and day out for our clients. So I can still relate. It hasn't gone away, but I'm here to sell the vision of why it's worth it and the impact that a powerful content strategy can have in just a short period of time, moving into an age where people make purchasing decisions on handheld devices. And if you don't have a presence or footprint on social media, you don't have a website, that's going to work against you when it comes to converting sales and creating new clients. So if you think about maybe not the generation you grew up with if you're down the track, but the generation of consumers that are coming through right now. If you've got children, think about how your children interact and how they do their research when they want to purchase. They will go online, either via recommendation or through a search mechanism, and they will look. And what they see in terms of the content, the brand, will evoke an emotion in them, and it's either going to increase their desire to want to transact with your business, or it's going to decrease that desire. So your content or lack of content right now is either creating sales or losing you sales, and you just don't know. The average person is going to take a look at what's exists in your online world before they move forward with a buying decision. Now, that's really important for business owners to understand, because if you can create a very powerful content footprint that builds a strong aesthetic result into your brand, it conveys the premium nature and how much a transaction might cost to buy your solutions. If the content is solving problems in advance before people even consider buying from you, then you're going to have a very different experience with prospects moving forward than if you don't have those things in place. Now, if you've got a sales team right now and they're coming to you and they're talking about missing sales, or it's really hard to get people to move forward, I wonder how much the content that's out there is making it harder for them to close deals. So even yourself as a business owner, they're having that sales conversation, someone has a genuine interest, a problem you can solve. They don't make the decision on that call or through that initial conversation. They go away, then they need those couple of checkboxes, those reference points to move forward powerfully. They go look at what exists for your brand online, and what they see doesn't give them enough confidence to move forward. Or you've invested in a very powerful brand and content presence, and consequently, if your sale conversation doesn't lead to a decision on the call, they go away and they come back and they go, let's go. Because what they've seen behind the scenes on social media, online, on Google, on the website, has given them that extra nudge that they needed to be confident that your solutions would work for them. So this is why it's so important to invest powerfully in a content strategy. Now, here's the challenge with that. Where do you even start? There's dozens of platforms. There's many different formats of content, from written posts, shorts, videos, podcasting. It's impossible, if it's not your native genius, to know which is the best springboard to start with. Then how often do you post? When do you post? Do you use hashtags? At what frequency? This is all extremely overwhelming. And the goal of the conversation today is to simplify that. And if you're starting from square one, have a strategy to move forward powerfully and simply, not making it complex. And if you're a little bit further along, how can we accelerate and put that process on steroids? But what I will say is it doesn't matter how many followers and how many people that you're reaching currently, even if it's zero. Everyone starts with 0 followers when they first set up their accounts. What is important though is that footprint that you start to build. Because even if you don't have many followers, people will go check you out. And if there's really quality posts sitting there and information, despite the fact that there's no followers, if they're checking that out and they get confidence because they've seen the work that you've done, or you've solved a problem in one of their posts, or you're talking to the outcomes they want to achieve through the solutions and what you do as your business, that immediately starts to have an impact in the sales conversion process. So don't think that in the beginning, even though it's not getting the traction and reach, which can be very discouraging, that it's not having an impact on your ability to convert sales. I think that's the most important thing to point out. Now, I'm going to give you a few ideas that can result in fast traction and quick wins early on, depending on who your target client is, so you can accelerate the process. But understand that it can start having a very small impact from day one, and that starts to compound with time. Now, if we were to wipe the slate clean, the first thing that you want to consider when you're going into a content strategy is which platform does have the attention of your ideal client, and that should be your primary or foundational platform. That's where you should be looking to get their attention, build up this trail, this social proof, and this content footprint. So for example, if you're in a B2B space, or your clients are business owners or in the corporate world, then LinkedIn would be a great example of a platform. If it's more of a visually aesthetic solution, it might be a platform like Instagram. So you want to understand, spend a bit of time thinking about which platform has the attention of our current target clients or our dream clients, and will also have their attention in the future. And just start with that platform to begin with, to keep it simple if you're not already into the content game already. And to make it easy, just like what I'm doing with this podcast, which is a great example, another reference point, we're only very early into doing episodes. I'm not looking to the metrics and the analytics and KPIs at this point in time, because I'll get discouraged, and quite frankly, there's probably only 3 or 4 people that'll listen to this episode at this point in time, and thank you for tuning in and listening. So I know if I look at metrics and analytics and followers, I'm going to get discouraged very fast and probably quit and stop doing it. I know that this is a several year play if I want to get any momentum with it. And you need to look at content the same way. Think about building the muscle first, getting a habit around posting, doing it in a quality format, and just having that weekly rhythm to begin with. So just like with this podcast, I want to get 2 episodes out a week and just build the routine of getting them done. And then we'll enhance quality, we'll get better equipment, we'll get a studio, we'll attract better guests, I'll get better at delivering as we go. I want to create the habit and then just get better with time. You need to approach content the same way. If you lack consistency, if you haven't been doing it, if you haven't done any at all, go, what's a structure or format that I can commit to where I know I can show up and at least get some content out each week that's high quality and it's in the right place. And it removes all those other overwhelming pieces. Like, does it need to also go on TikTok? Does it need to go on Facebook? Just pick one platform, pick the time you're going to get the content out each week, commit to that process, put a time on it that the post is going to go out so there's a deadline, and get that post out. And that's the easiest place to start, because if you start building that muscle, you can layer in extra activity down the track. But just knowing that you're doing that is going to start building this reference point and this compounding momentum that over 12 months, that can produce a significant result. Now, through our agencies that we run, we do content on a weekly basis for our clients as a service, as a done-for-you solution. So we get to see the impact of starting with no presence on a platform, posting consistently every single week over a period of 12 months, and how that influences their brand. And we can safely say that anyone that has posted consistently every single week for 12 months has what we call the inbound effect. So now they're in a position where they've built up a position within their marketplace through the content that's added value. It's shown their expertise. It's shown capabilities to solve problems and provide solutions. people have seen that frequency, seen that effort. They've gone to their accounts to look at their thread and seen that trail of content and go, you know what, I believe your company can solve the problem that I have right now because that content has built that reference point and trust. So they get X amount of people in almost every scenario reaching out on a monthly basis organically saying, hey, I've been following you for a little while. I really think that what you do can help us, or we'd like to get a quote on a project, whatever the solution or industry they're in. So know that in the future, if you start with just one post today as your first post, back it up again next week, if you do this for 12 months, you'll have this residual compounding brand equity that's built up. They'll have people that start contacting you to transact for the solution, and they're not price sensitive because they already believe that you can deliver. So price gets removed from the equation because they have this trust and know that your capabilities will get what they're after. And this is really, really important to understand about the content process. So this leads me to the next part of the vision that I want to paint for you. You're building an asset. So if you ever want to sell your business in the future, the people that go to acquire that company are going to look at your online brand equity, the digital footprint, the reach to followers, the impact, and the number of inquiries that what you do online generates. And if that is consistent and it translates into an outcome that's measurable, that'll drastically boost the valuation of your business. Now, I can talk to this from personal experience. Myself and my business partner, Jack Murray, had an exit in 2016. And one of the key selling points that got the valuation that we got was our reach through the followers and the content that we built up, but also the number of organic inbound leads that we generated on a daily basis based on all that effort we'd put into the online brand equity. And they were so attracted to that consistency that it showed, and they could measure that into future financial success, that we got the price that they paid for that particular business. So if you ever want to exit your business in the future, you need to understand that you're building almost like you would with real estate. You purchase a property and you look at the fundamentals and go, I believe that this is going to appreciate with time. It's going to pay off some rental income as we go and we're moving through. So this is some clients you get generated on a consistent basis as you start to build up that content base. But that digital asset that you build up compounds into this huge portion of what the business is worth into the future. So have that in the back of your mind that you are building an asset and it will compound with time. You just need to do the essentials consistently over that duration. Now, we've spoken to what to do if you're just starting out, and that's just building the muscle, just getting those initial posts circulating on a consistent frequency. Now, to give you perspective on that, on a platform like LinkedIn, if your company or yourself just posts once a week, that puts you in the top 1% of people on the LinkedIn platform, which is impressive. All you got to do is post once a week. You're automatically in the top 1% of competitors in your niche, in your industry, thought leaders, personal, whatever lane you're playing in with content. Isn't that fascinating? One simple activity done on a weekly basis that you can even outsource or delegate. You can get someone in your team to do it. You might engage a third-party service like a marketing agency. Like I said, we do this day in and day out for our clients through our Done For You content services. So we have a lot of intel and experience with this. Just by doing that, you're in the top 1%, which is a huge edge and advantage and position to be in a space where, as we know, in the future, more and more information, more and more brand equity and consumer-based decision-making is going to go towards what they find online. So you can immediately be in that top 1% on a platform like LinkedIn just by posting once a week. Really good to know. So we've spoken about that initial strategy just to build the muscle and get started. The next thing I want to talk to is how you can get some quick traction and wins. So there are content formats that have bias. And due to the algorithms on certain platforms, you will get a lot more traction with a specific type of content. So 60-second or less video clips are highly favored by most platforms in the current format of the social landscape. So Reels on platforms like Instagram, TikTok videos, shorts on YouTube, they can get really quick organic views in 24 to 48 hours, even if you don't have an audience or following. So you can experience some quick wins and instant gratifications with those forms of content. It also seems to be the preference for how a lot of the current consumers like to get their information. Short, sharp bursts with that less than 60-second attention span. That's how they like to receive. So it's getting rewarded by a lot of the content platforms. So you could consider that as a content format, really short video clips that are engaging and interactive that you put on the primary platforms that have the attention of your ideal clients to get some faster wins and traction. Now that content does die out very fast as well. Within 72 hours, they probably stop attracting views, reach and followers, etc. You also have the option to do what I call evergreen content. So this is content that will continue to generate traffic, views, reach and impact long after you create it. So long form YouTube videos is an example. And if you're accessing this episode on YouTube, you're experiencing an example of that right now. You've got podcasting. So the audio that gets extracted from this session will go on to all the different podcasting channels that we distribute on, and people can continue to find us well into the future through searches, through following the show and going back through past episodes. You've got Google and the search engine, so videos will show up in those results. You've also got articles and blog posts, things that are optimized for search terms and tags that can keep coming up in searches over and over again and get traffic well into the future and keep compounding as their rankings improve. So you've got a few different paths to go down. Now, when you get mature with content, you're probably going to look at a hybrid strategy where you're getting some of this instant gratification traffic from your short 60-second or less clips or short posts that you do across your preferred platforms, and then doing the evergreen content where you're looking for that longevity and showing up in search results and building up the recurring compounding traffic streams. If you're in the position where you've been quite advanced with content and you're looking for a takeaway blueprint or formula, or you're just starting out and you're looking for a future strategy that kind of ticks all the boxes, I'm going to share what I'm doing. So I like to talk from experience, and that is exactly what you're experiencing right now. It's a podcast, and I'll explain why and how we redistribute this in content formats. A podcast gives me a platform to show up to each week to generate content. It gives me a subject to talk about and a theme. So I've got a subject matter that's relevant to our target audiences where we can educate, add value, build a relationship, increase trust transference. We can film that, which we're doing just with a Camtasia software, and we can take that video and put it on YouTube for that long-term organic play to keep getting traffic and views well into the future. We can take the audio and again, do that evergreen strategy across the different podcasting audio distribution networks and have that play there. We can then take the footage and cut it into 60-second or less clips. So take snippets from this episode, redistribute that as Instagram Reels, as TikTok videos, as shorts on YouTube. So we're hitting all those touch points for the fast traffic result there. What we can do is we can also take those 60-second clips, go to rev.com, get them transcribed into a text and get them edited into post format. So we've also got written content. So from filming one podcast episode, we can take it and edit it and repurpose the content into all those different formats to get a residual ripple impact across all those different platforms and mediums. So if you're looking for an advanced strategy from one effort that ticks all bases and covers several platforms, that's your play. But if we rewind, and we're looking for those simple takeaways and what's the action step moving forward. So it depends on where you're at. But if you haven't been consistent and you haven't been doing content, you now understand why you need to do it. Build that brand equity, increase the sales conversion for your sales team and for yourself as a business owner, increase trust transference and separate yourself from the competition and show up in a world that is digital, and that's where people are looking to get their solutions. Start now and compound that into future asset that'll increase the value of your business. Now, you've got to work through the block of judgment and putting the message out there. Now, I can tell you that on a weekly basis, I will get harsh comments across the different social platforms. I've got a lot more okay with hearing different things. Some of them are about your physical appearance, which is always interesting. Some of them are about the things that you say. Some of them are quite educational and debatable, the opposite opinion to what you have, which is always fine because everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But the key is just to keep showing up and be more committed to the message and the purpose behind it and to building your business and understanding that this is to contribute to success and get your solutions to more customers and clients so you can enrich their lives as well. So we understand that. Keep it simple. What's that one platform that you're committed to getting in front of your target clients on at least that once a week frequency in the beginning, maybe even more if you want to ramp that up a little bit. So compounding into the future, in 12 months time, you've got this massive trail and brand equity and footprint of content that's a massive conversion tool and selling point when people are researching and want to transact with your business. So that's your action plan. What's the one platform that you're going to create content on? When are you going to post it each week? If I was going to give you a time, I'd say Tuesday mornings or in the evenings is a great time to post. Put in the hashtags, research which hashtags to use for your niche and industry to get some extra optimization on the platform you're posting on. Pick your format. It might be a written post and a photo to start with. You might want to do those 60-second or less video clips. Whatever you know you're going to commit to and follow through on, start there and keep it simple. What I would say though is add value. Solve problems for people, talk to their challenges. What are the biggest frustrations, pain points, and desires of your dream clients? Talk about those in your content post, and you'll start to get engagement. You'll start to get people going, oh, this business, this brand, this person understands me. And that's when you get the conversion into clients, or you get the retention and their attention. So there's some foundational considerations when it comes to a content strategy. Like I said, build the muscle. That's the first place to really start if you're getting in that lane. If you want those more advanced strategies, then just dissect that blueprint I shared and consider what I said about long form content getting repurposed into shorter form content to go across the different channels. If you have any questions, you're not sure about which platform to be on, where to start, if there's a comment section, go for it. I'll respond to it personally. There will be also points of contact in the episode notes, so you can reach out to me personally if you need to, if you have any questions and want some personalized advice about how to get started and where to go with that. If you're this far into the episode, I trust you got value, so make sure you're following if you're not already. If you can leave us a review, if that's available on the platform you're on, that would be amazing, especially if it's a good review to help us reach more people. I'm so grateful that you've got this far into the episode. We'll be back again with more episodes on the Marketing Business Wealth podcast over the coming week. We really appreciate your attention, and we trust that we can continue to add value, particularly in the area of marketing and content marketing that you've experienced today.